and welcome back to another episode of A Magic You. My name is Yulisa. I am your host for this podcast, and I'm so thankful that you're here. If you are new here, welcome. If you are not new here, welcome back. Today, we are going to be discussing energy and aura and how it really is real and it can affect those around you and how others can affect you as well. Before we get into that, I don't really know if I have a whole lot of life updates, to be quite honest. I'm recording this on the day that I'm turning in a grant, a big grant I've been working on for like 2 months, and really just one really long month. I've been working my tail off for it though, and I'm just really nervous and excited, and of course just hoping it all goes well. I'm also about to go pick up my parents from the airport. They're coming in for the weekend to visit, so Ty and I are going to Baltimore to go get them, and I just can't wait to have them here and just relax and have my family. By the time you're listening to this, it's going to be March. Guys, it's March. Spring is almost here. I know for Delaware, it has been warming up quite a bit and in the 60s, and it feels so nice. Like the energy, let's just start with that. The energy feels so good, and I say that because everybody else's energy, you can feel it. You can feel that everyone's in a good mood. You can feel people are just happier. Life is better, okay? Appointments are way better because people are just jolly and happy, okay? And so we're going to talk about aura and energy. And if you're not into this stuff, the spirituality and metaphysical things like that, maybe listen and just, form your own opinion, of course. Take everything with a grain of salt. Do your own research. This is just things that I've looked up and also I believe in. I believe so strongly in. It has definitely benefited and affected my life over the past few years and how I see everything and just how I live my day to day. But energy, aura, I'm sure you have heard of it and maybe heard people talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, their energy is so awesome, or they have a really good aura. I feel like I definitely hear people say energy more than aura though. But according to Google, what is energy, aura? So when people say energy, they're talking about their electromagnetic field. And when they say aura, they're talking about their vibrational frequency. They go hand in hand, in my opinion. But what it is an invisible field, energy field, around you and everybody, everything that reflects your emotional, mental, and spiritual feelings and how your well-being. So you may ask, when I say everything, because everything is matter, everything has energy, including like pictures and amulets. Let's just think of like jewelry. When someone wears something every single day, it has a lot of their energy on it, So if somebody were to pass and you take one of that person that had passed, their belongings, that maybe, let's say, a shawl or a scarf or something, you're going to feel that person's energy. And if you are hearing me say this and you're like, oh my God, eye roll, listen up, okay? There's definitely times where you can hold something of someone else's and you just, like, your heart just feels it, right? You're just feeling their energy because energy transfers. Like, if someone were to be wearing, I don't know, it doesn't even have to be wearing anything, but if someone's mood or their energy is always low and they're just in a bad mood all the time, they're very negative, they talk very negatively, they just aren't a positive person, you're not going to want to be around them. You're going to feel that presence and that energy from feet away, through their words, through their looks. Like, you can definitely, now I'm just kind of jumbling around, just giving examples of how you can feel people's energy, okay? So bear with me and bounce around with me too. Like when you're in a store, oh my God, when you're in a store and you happen to feel someone staring at you, like that is them projecting their energy onto you. And it's kind of scary. It is scary, but we have to protect ourselves energetically. Now, just a fair warning, I may like I just said, be bouncing all over the place with this episode. I don't really know if there's going to be an order, so just hold on really tight, put on your seatbelt, because this is just something I am so strong about. So if I don't make sense, I'm sorry, and if I do make sense, I'm glad. Just keep listening. Okay, so I have a friend who is so fun, so spunky, so awesome, and her energy radiates, shines. Her aura shines. Like, she is literally the light of the room, the life of the party. And even if, like, you were in a bad mood, like, it just helps having her next to you and if you get the chance to, because it just brings you up and makes you happier. The same thing happens, though, if somebody else's energy is so negative that it can kind of rub off on you and those around you, which is why it is so important to take care of that circle that you have, that who you surround yourself with, not only who you surround yourself with, but what you watch and what you listen to, what you are scrolling on social media. All of this collectively together will affect your energy, your aura, how you put out yourself, and like your presence, your being. All of these things come together to not make you, but influence you. Energy is like one of those things that you don't have to see and hold in order to know it's there, kind of like a smell. If you go to someone's house that is a smoker and you leave, you're most likely going to leave smelling like smoke or cigarettes or weed, whatever it is, and that lingers. The same thing happens with energy. You don't have to see it, you just have it on you. So with people and giving hugs and stuff like that, they can definitely take away from your energy, but it's so important to, if your intuition is saying, don't hug someone, don't hold someone's hand, stay away, definitely listen to it, because it is telling you for a reason. That other person may not have the best intentions, and they may just be trying to swipe that good energy of yours. So you definitely want to be careful with who you surround yourself with and who you are exchanging your energy with in hugs, handshakes, everything. Now, this isn't to say if somebody is in a bad mood that you should just ignore them and not talk to them. No, but you should definitely, in your head, think about a little bubble around you to protect you, and give them, kindness, send them kindness, but don't try your hardest to think of that bubble and any energy that they are projecting or any negativity that would be coming onto you would just bounce right off, because you don't need it. Okay, so there is definitely ways to still give out your good energy in doses, not all at once, but in a way that you don't have to be disrespectful or rude or anything like that towards people who maybe are just nasty. And nasty in the way of attitude and auras and stuff like that. But you never know what people are going through. I've definitely been in a funk, and I'm sure we all have, where you just don't feel right. And it's not like you're sick, but you kind of feel sick. Wow, maybe I'm just going on a rampage, guys. I'm drinking an Olipop, and I think it's got me, I haven't even had caffeine, but it's definitely got me going. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yes, feeling sick, and it not being an illness, it not being like the weather, you just feel funky on the inside. I know I can't be the only one. This used to happen to me a lot as a kid growing up, and I definitely felt weird, and it was almost like, I didn't know how to explain. I felt like I wasn't myself, but I was in my body. Definitely weird. I don't know. I am with the quantum physics and leaping and all of that jazz, but looking back, maybe I was already in it. Okay, anyway. Sorry, guys. I'm telling you, I'm going crazy. But back to feeling sick because of energy. So this is a little story. There was a time about, I think it was last year, maybe the year before that, a good while that I had been feeling sick. And I was telling my mom over the phone. And I'd be like, Mom, I feel sick. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm not sick like a cold. I just feel ill. My heart, my energy, my inside feels sick. And she was like, I don't know what to tell you, just pray. And I would pray. I'd be like, God, please help me. I don't know why I feel like this. Help me figure out what's going on. And I would just keep praying, go to Reiki, meditate, try and do exercise, trying to get this funk out of me, but I couldn't figure it out. And I could feel that it wasn't me per se. It was like someone else putting something on me. I definitely felt like someone was giving me the evil eye. And when I had started my business, I had been wearing an evil eye bracelet since I started. It was real gold. And 2 bracelets I have broke. And they say when they break that they have carried enough energy in it to protect you and it's time for a new one. Like, you're not supposed to try and fix it, which I believe. So I would get a new one. And I was like really frustrated because I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is real gold. I just bought it. And wait, also pause, not trying to sound bougie, but I am super allergic to like nickel and stuff. It just irritates the shit out of my skin. And I don't take my jewelry off most of the time. So I have to have it like plated, sterling silver, whatever. But I'm a gold girly. Okay, just wanted to put that out there. I'm not just saying I'm like buying gold left and right. I wish. But anyway, so I would keep replacing this evil eye and it would keep breaking, not instantly, but it would be weird. So the first time it had broken, I remember there being someone that had entered my studio and she didn't even speak. It was so fucking weird. She was, I don't even want to like put it out there, but she was just like looking around the room and I could feel that she was like maybe jealous or I don't know, definitely some sort of jealousy, but put some funk there. And I'm not going to go into detail about it, but from that moment, I was like, oh, like I did not like that one bit. I saged the room because I was like, what the fuck? I saged the whole building. And this was before I had like the building. It was just me in my room. But when nobody else was there, I would go around and like smudge it, do my best to just clear the energy, open the windows, things like that. But stuff started getting weird to the point where I was like feeling really sick. Like nothing was happening with clients or work and nothing was like breaking, but I just felt off. So then a few months go by and my evil eye bracelet breaks. And I was so upset because it broke when putting on my jacket, but it wasn't like I had snagged it. It was like it fell off as my arm came through, but it wasn't snagged. You know what I mean? Like I would have known. Either way, it broke in that moment, you know? So I went to work the next day and I was like really nervous because I had, don't have my bracelet on, have to order a new one, but I just prayed and I had the best freaking day ever. So I believe that my bracelet or whatever hex or eye was put on me in that time was like released from me because the next day I had the best day ever with clients. Just like the energy was so good. And again, I wasn't saying like before that it was the worst, but it just felt off. Like I knew something was not right. Fast forward to like a year and a half later, we go to Mexico. And again, I'm telling my mom, like, I don't know what it is. Something feels like really off. And she's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to help you. And I'm just like, damn, like how, and I was thinking, Reiki was going to be the savior, and it definitely helped a lot. It helped so, so much. But then, oh my God, this is like a whole nother story, guys, but I will tell it again if I have to. So we go to Mexico, where my family's from, and we go to this sacred land. We find this guide, and my mom was born there. She was raised there until she was about 15. She still has siblings over there, and we go to Mexico. That's our place. Not like Cancun, but anyway, she had never been to this sacred land. She'd always heard of it, but it was like land that belonged to the indigenous Mexicans before, like they weren't even Mexican, I don't think. They were like the indigenous like native people before the Spaniards came and like did their thing. So anyway, you have to have a guide to go on this land. And when we found this guide at the market, he was like eating his food and they were like, oh my God, this guy can take us. This is going to be great. So And me and Ty and Kaylin were just like, okay, we're just kind of waiting around. But they're like, okay, we're going to go to the sacred temple. It's going to be a lot of walking. It's a hike, but you have to pray before you go in. And it's very intense. Like it's sacred land. And we're like, okay, cool. So I think 2 days go by and it's time for us to go to the sacred land. We pick up the first guy and imagine a minivan, just like a regular minivan, seats like 7 or 8. There was 13 or 14 of us, maybe even 15, pulled up in this van. Let me see. Kaylin and I were in the trunk. There was about 3 or 4 people in the back seat, and then like another 2 and 2. I don't know. It was insane. We were smashed. And there were so many obstacles to get there that shouldn't have happened. We were all wondering, like, are we not supposed to go today? There was like construction on the road. Like the road was literally taken out. Like there was a gaping hole where there was supposed to be a road. So we had to go like around that. And here it's not like, oh, let me just take the next exit. No. It is dirt roads. It is no roads. It is rocks as you are making your way through the mountains. Like it is like villages, mountains, guys. This is like real life Mexico, okay? So here the minivan goes, like not hauling ass, but it is bumping over these rocks, okay? Me and Kaylin, our butts are hurting. We're making our way up, and the men had said, before we had like started the true journey up, they were like, we all got out of the van. They were pointing to the area in the mountain where we were headed, so you could see we were going to go deep into the mountain, into like the foliage and all of that. And they're like, when you get there, you're going to see like faces, and you're going to see the guardians, and you're going to see like a lot of things like that. And we're all like, okay, cool. So just keep that in your back pocket for the rest of when I start to talk about it. So, okay, first obstacle was the fact that there was like literally no road and we had to go around. Second obstacle was the van freaking broke down, guys. It broke down. The whole way we were going up, we were laughing, chatting, like just, in the literally trunk of a car looking through the back window. Like it was just so Mexico, and I love it. We were vibing, okay? I want you guys to know that I was not sick or feeling sick, because what happens next is crazy. So the van breaks down, and some people are like, oh my gosh, like what are we gonna do? We just passed the only house up this hill so far, and that's like half a mile down the road. Like how are we gonna get help up here? There's no cell service. It is, think of cactuses, some tall grass, and rocks, and the path was like a dirt rock road. So Ty helped the guys fix whatever it was. I think it was just something with the battery, like too much corrosion that they needed to clean off, so then the battery would start up again. But my mom was so positive in that moment. She's like, no, we gotta pray, we're gonna get there. And then my dad was like, oh my god, no, we should turn around. And everyone else was chilling, we were eating some peanuts, vibing. The car gets started, and we finished the trip up because it was only 5 minutes, if that, from there. I was like, we could have walked. But we parked the van, we go under this fence, and they're like, okay, we're here. We have to start walking. So we start walking, and I hear Ty and my mom behind me, and they're like, wow, do you feel it feels so different here? And Ty's like, yeah, I definitely can feel the energy, because it's an area that's sacred. It has a lot of energy to the land. It's just very intense. I was kind of just listening and walking and going, and we get to the point where we have to pray before we go into continue to hike along. We get to the point where we pray. Sorry, guys, if I repeat myself, I'm thinking. I don't think I've ever shared this really to many people. So if you're hearing this is crazy. I start to feel sick, and I was feeling ill. Like, we start to gather in a circle to do our prayer and hold hands, and I go down. I'm like, Dad, I don't feel good. And he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I do not feel good. And I'm like, I'm going down. I was about to pass out. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm going to throw up or like poop, one of the two. And then I was like, oh my God, I got to go. So I run backwards to where, not backwards, I run back to where we had came from. And there was like a little bit of brush and trees and like a ditchy area. So I run down there and I was like, I need Mom. So when I turned to see if my mom was coming, it was like my ears went blank. It was like a ring that was like just, I don't even know how to explain it, just a straight ring through them. And it was like foggy, like life was in slow-mo. So I went my way down to the ditch. And of course, I was wearing overalls, guys, because I'm an overall girly. And I was like, oh, I'm not throwing up. So that means my tummy. And this might be TMI. So if you're like grossed out by stuff, but I didn't shit myself. Like I got my clothes off sort of thing. But yeah, like just about. And this is in the middle of nowhere, mountains, Mexico. There's no toilet. There is no toilet paper. There is no plumbing. You know what I mean? I'm in the brush. I am like alive in the wild. And thankfully my mom comes and I'm like feeling like shit. Like literally like death. I don't even know how else to explain it. Like you just got, what is that virus? Like Novo or whatever, where you're like sick. Your tummy is cramping. My stomach hurts so bad. My mom's like, it's okay. Like, don't worry about them. I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing, one. And two, what is happening to me? But thankfully, Mom had some napkins, and that's when I also learned how to wipe my ass with rocks. So that's just a little funny thing. But okay. I cleaned myself up. I washed my hands with some water from a bottled water and hand sanitizer, and it wasn't like grody or anything like that, but you know, just had to put it out there that I wasn't like gross. So then we go back to the circle, and they're like looking at me, and the one guide whose land it actually was, he came over and put like a piece of, it wasn't like a flower, it was like an herb that he had picked, and he put it under my sombrero. And he's like, you know, keep it there and like just leave it. I'm like, okay. We pray and we keep going. Now, I want to share the whole story of this whole time, but I think I might just save that for a whole nother episode because it's kind of long. But I just wanted you guys to know, like, I wasn't sick before getting there. I was totally fine. Like I said, we were laughing. We were having a good time in the trunk of the van. And then we get there and immediately, like, I'm sick. So while we're walking, continuing to walk, the native man had fallen. And he said that there was lots of envy around me. And I needed to be careful with who was around me. And they said some other things, and they did a cleansing on me, which I had been wanting, and I had been telling my mom. Little did I know this was when it was going to happen. So they did they got some brush, and they like brushed it all over me. I got into this like body of water and like cleaned myself off. No one was around me. On the sacred land, it was amazing. The point of all that is how strong other people's energy can be, that it really does affect yours and can make you sick and ill. And that's why I wanted to tell that story, not just because like it's a good story, but it was insane because nobody had believed me, and those guys said that when they got in the van, they had felt someone had something on them. And I'm just following along trying to get the tour to this temple, which we didn't even get to make it to because all the stuff that was happening to me. And they helped me. They helped me so much. So that trip to Mexico was like a spiritual, I don't want to say awakening, but like cleansing. It was insane. And I don't know. I just wanted to share because you really do have to be careful with who you're around, what you tell people, what people tell you. Be mindful and know that even if someone's like joking and maybe they're rude, not all things are jokes. The way people look at you, the way that friends, you want to surround yourself with good friends that actually are rooting for you, not those who are actually jealous of what you have and don't want you to succeed. I really believe that with energy and just your intentions, affirmations, and manifestations, like if you do it for others and you are genuinely proud and excited for others' growth and success, like you too will get success and growth and greatness in return. That's just kind of like the law of attraction. Energy is also something that is highly affected by the foods we eat. Like I had said earlier, the things that we were watching, listening to, people were around. The foods and drinks that we are putting in our body is going to affect us tremendously because that is what you are giving your body and your cells like fuel to go by. So if you eat a lot of processed foods, a lot of sugars and things like that, your body has a hard time breaking that down, one, and two, it's not really nourishing your body. So you're not going to be at your highest potential. And I say that because of a lot of the stuff in the US is so bad. Even if it's marked as like natural or good, you have to be really mindful of the food that you eat and also where it's like grown and things like that. I started eating meat about a year ago now. Well, in May it'll be a year that I started eating meat again. And I do try to get my meat local and sustainable from like small business and also just like, reputable people. It makes me so incredibly sad to know that there are slaughterhouses and places where it's not humanely done, and to think that that animal's energy is in the meat. Like that's how it died. I don't know. That's how I feel like it is. And maybe now I just sound loony to you. That's fine. I don't care. But I definitely try to think of like a life from an animal that is happier and like just wandering the field versus one that is cooped up. The meats, the energy that it's going to give you is going to be a little bit different. Let me know if you agree with me or if maybe I just sound crazy. Sometimes you may be surrounded by people that you are so amped to be around. They fuel your energy. They fill your cup. You feel good after you leave with them. You're like, oh my God, why are we not hanging out more? Like, I don't want to leave. Those people are awesome. You want to keep people like that around you. But I know we've all been around those people that drain us, whether it be coworkers, family members, acquaintances, or just strangers even, that you're just like, ugh, like, get away because you are draining me. Like, you're making me be in a bad mood, icky. So we want to try our best to stay away from people like that and not talk to people like that if you can avoid it, because it's for your own well-being, regardless of who it is. Now, yes, you may have to talk to certain people if they're in your family and things like that, but if it really is affecting you and your well-being, then put yourself first, because you have to be okay to live day to day. You can't be in a bad mood and stuff like that. So definitely take spaces or breaks if needed. And try your hardest just to keep surrounding yourself with those who fill your cup. There are some ways that you can shift your energy and kind of tweak it a little bit if you're feeling a little funky. Some ways are mindfulness and meditation, just being in the moment, really just staying present, looking at what's around you, the smells, the sounds, the feels, all of that. Really just putting yourself in the now instead of worrying, and grounding yourself, breathing, taking walks in nature. Take your shoes off, take your socks off, go out in a patch of clovers and just put your feet down. Oh my God, that is one of my favorite things to do. It is amazing. Music and moving your body and saying your affirmations are also ways that you can shift your energy. You definitely want to put happy music on. If you're trying to be happier, if you put sad music on and you're already sad, you're probably going to start crying like I do. If you put a sad movie on, there's ways to release the energy too. Like, you definitely don't want to bottle it or try and hide it or just wipe it across and forget about it. If you need to deal with it, there's ways to deal with it. Because sometimes a sad movie really lets out a good cry, and then you're like, damn, I feel good. But if you're trying to shift your energy, definitely wanting to play good music, moving your body, and saying good affirmations so that you keep believing how awesome you are. Avoiding emotional vampires is a big thing. You don't want to be around people who are always looking at the negative, always doubting, always just like seeing the worst in things. We don't need to be around people like that, okay? Those are non-believers of like how amazing life can really be, because you are creating your own life, okay? You can wake up one day and totally change. It's not abnormal to do that. You can change your life. It can happen in an instant of where you decide like, okay, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I don't want to procrastinate anymore. I don't want to be lazy. I don't want to just be doing the same thing watching TV. I want to move my body and I want to better myself. Okay? So those people that say, "Oh, you'll be back in whatever amount of time," or "Oh, what I don't even know. I hate even talking like that." Forget about them. Avoid them. They can be schlumpy dumpy in their own area and we don't need them, okay? I had mentioned earlier a visual technique that you can use to kind of try and protect yourself, and that was that little bubble around you when going into conversation with someone maybe you don't really want to talk to or you're not sure of, or just to protect your energy. And that's really just thinking about you in this beautiful bubble and that it cannot be popped or affected by what others say, think, or do. That is a really good way just to try and practice. If you're someone that's really anxious when going out to the store, this is kind of how I started, I would try and think of myself in a bubble and, avoiding other people's energy. Because, okay, let's say you go to a Walmart. Walmart's insane. There's so many people. There's no windows. It's a dungeon in there. A fluorescent light that is, I don't know. I just don't like Walmart. But the energy in there is weird. So when I have to go in there, I definitely put a little shield over and, I mind my business. I am my own person in my own little movie. And I'm having a good time. Headphones if needed, if Ty's not with me. But definitely protect yourself as much as possible because it is crazy out there. I really hope that you guys get some insight in this episode and it's not just me like talking crazy, but yeah, I don't know. It's just something that's so important to me. I'll try and think of better ways to put it if you guys didn't like the delivery, but I could just go on and on about how real it is. It's insane. It's insane how your emotions and feelings and vibes and things like that really do affect your surroundings, If you are having a bad day and then you stub your toe and like then your groceries fall out of the bag, like things keep happening, it's because you're in that mindset of just like negative and negative and negative. They'll attract and they keep wanting to multiply. But if you're like, no, take a deep breath, it's okay, I can change the day from here, and you move forward, the day can be changed. So it just goes to show how your energy really does affect your day-to-day and everything you do, and also those around you. So just be very, very careful who you are surrounding yourself with, what you're doing, and just try to live your life to the best of your ability, the happiest, good intentions. Just be a good person, be kind. It's far easier than being a bad one. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's really all I got today, guys. I don't know how long this is, but it is time for me to get ready to go pick up my parents. And I don't even know if I need coffee, but I would love to chat Ty's ear off in the car. So maybe I'll have some coffee. What else? What else is new? Yeah, no, that's all I got. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. If you've made it this far and you don't think I'm crazy, I so appreciate you. If you made it this far and you think I am crazy, it's probably because I am. But yeah, I love y'all. If you guys have questions, feel free to send me a message on the link. It says send a text. Follow us on A Magic You. My name is Yulisa. Yeah, it's a good life. It's a good day to be living. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will talk to you guys in the next one, let me know if you guys want to hear anything different, or if you guys really want me to tell that full-on story. I got stories for days, guys, okay? If you guys want story time, just tell me. All right, love you guys. Bye.